Welcome to Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm the head coach, Josh Robinson, and this is offensive coordinator, Chad Fisher. This past Friday, we traveled to Jasper, Georgia, and played Pickens County High School, and really just didn't play well. In almost all phases of the game, we made mistakes. We missed tackles on defense, which has not been a problem since Game 2, an excessive problem. Offensively, we just didn't execute across the board. I believe we committed 6 penalties that ended up costing us 4 touchdowns or first downs. And we just didn't play well, and we had 2 special teams blunders, and I guess the good part is that's not been the standard, but the bad part is all this came together in one night, and we just came out with a disappointing performance.
Yeah, it was of all nights for us to struggle, as we picked the wrong night to struggle. But the kids are resilient. But we had some mishaps that affected us, lining up wrong, some questionable calls, some turnovers. Some bad snaps here, bad snaps there. It's just one of those things that happen. That we've been very fortunate has not plagued us all year, and then all of a sudden it showed its head on Friday night, and it happened. And our kids are resilient; they'll bounce back and be ready to roll for the next upcoming game. But it's just one of those unfortunate incidents that happened.
Well, there's still a lot of things to play for, and our kids will come back and have a great week of practice and go out and perform better. We expect that out of them. And also at the same time, we've got to do a better job as coaches, and that starts with me. We have to find what the problem was, and that's something that we've already started working on, and talk about the psyche and approach to a game. And that all starts with me, and we're going to get better, and that includes me and my coaching staff. Let's look at our stats. On the night, Owen was 12 for 29 with 117 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Owen has played really well throughout the year, and just kind of got into a rut Friday night, struggled a little bit, and saw some defenses that he hadn't really seen, and just for the way he has played for a 15-year-old ninth grader has been really great, astonishing just how he's played. And then he just had a bad night at times, and still did some good things, but just had a bad night on some certain drives, and it affected him a little bit. And really proud of the effort that he's shown and how he's played all year.
I thought our confidence of our offense was really waning. It's like we let a few, not just Owen, but all our guys, we let a few mistakes really carry on for us. And whether it's a great play the play before or a bad play on offense, defense, or special teams, the next play is a new play. You got to start over. We preach to our guys about, growing up, being better men, better husbands, better fathers, and sometimes you're going to have a bad day. I certainly have bad days, and I'm sure you do, and you've just got to wake up and go on to the next day. Receiving-wise, Callan Neely had 4 catches for 32 yards, and Preston Neely had 2 catches for 11 yards.
Yeah, both those guys have really come on and really played well the last couple of weeks. They did some good things. We got to learn to get off press coverage a little bit better, but those guys really helped carry our offense, especially when Matthew got hurt. Matthew had 2 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. But the Neely brothers, I call them the Neely twins, they really did some good things for us.
Cooper Pardee came in with 1 catch for 10 yards, and Ray Morrison had 2 catches for 8 yards as well.
2 guys that we're counting on some big things throughout the rest of the year, and Noah Newman was able to get in there and get a catch for 4 yards to extend the drive and keep the drive going.
We really at times ran the ball effectively. It's just like when our plays were not good, they were negative yardage because we miss a block, they'd hit us in the backfield, get us behind the chains, and at any level you hear that on Saturdays and Sundays, get them behind the chains. That's kind of where we live from as a defensive part, not necessarily that it's always a tackle for a loss, but if you limit them 1 yard or 2 yards, first, second down, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, it makes a big deal. But on the night we had some effective rushing out of Gavin and Bryce. Gavin had 16 carries for 97 yards, and Bryce had 7 carries for 50 yards.
Yeah, those 2 young men have done a really good job for us. And to reiterate what you said, when you get behind the chains, there's not a lot in the playbook that you can call when you're 3rd and 15. There's not a lot of things that are designed to go that far down the field with what we do. But, it's just like, again, it's one of those things where we had some mishaps and some things, some some mistakes that we have not really made, and we just kind of all made them all at one time. Maybe it was the food, the ride, or whatever, the locker room or whatever, but it was just one of those things. But yeah, Bryce and Gavin have really done a really fantastic job of running the football for us.
And our O-line played well at some times
Yes.
too, and that's the thing.
Just never could put anything together.
That's right. It wasn't all bad. We got inside the red zone 3 times. I think we only scored 1 touchdown. So, we'll move on. We'll grow as an offense and as a coaching staff, and we'll do better. At this time, let's take a look at the first half highlights. Started out the game, we kicked off. They recovered on about the 40. Here you see, I believe, Dakota Hickman almost getting a tackle for a loss. But this is kind of an indication of how things went. We had them for a tackle, and then they end up getting on the outside and wiggling around and gaining some yards. There you can see Zach Coslow kind of scraping and moving. Good job by McCamish. Awesome job by Bailey McQuaig. And there's what he's really capable of. They get a favorable bounce on a bad snap. Rolls right into their guys' hands, and we start the game on offense here with good field position.
Yeah, here's a nice little throw to Preston right there. And we knew we could hit some underneath stuff and do some things like that, so we felt real confident right there. We hit a little trap with Bryce. I thought we ran the ball really well on Friday night. We did some good things. Here's a nice little throw and catch to Cooper. Just taking what they give us, and then we come back here and we're going to hit a little seam route. Owen knows, and we talked about this on the sideline, let's get that ball down a little bit and try to hit more of a hole shot. We give it over to Gavin right here, nice little run right there. We kind of got, I think they flagged us for a hold, but I don't know if we've seen the holding penalty just yet. I don't know.
It's a pretty tough call there, Coach.
Yeah, nice little run right there. We get a nice little give. We pick up 4 or 5 yards. Nice job of being physical up front. Then we come right here and run a little quick screen, and nice little block by Jeb with one hand. And then Matthew takes it into the house. Nice little block downfield by our receivers.
Harrison Kiker with a good block. Great effort by Matthew Redmond. It's unfortunate that he got hurt, but we're looking to get him back full speed next week, which will be really good for the Bruins. Here they are. We're trying to isolate Jordan McCamish, and he had such a good game. We mentioned he had 32 tackles, which matches his number. But also for him is the second time this year that he would have broken the original school record. So really good night by him. Here he is again with a little trip up. Again, you see the kind of the wrestler coming out in him where he's able to just tiptoe around. Good job by Chase Humble. Missed tackle by Dakota Hickman, but he does a good job of keeping him back. We come back on offense.
Right. We get a little breakdown in pass protection. Owen tucks it and runs, picks up good positive yards for us right there. A way to scramble out of a bad problem.
We end up punting the ball away. Again, they had two downs, I believe, where it's 3rd and 5, and they're right in there, and we blitz. Good tackle by Bailey McQuaig. He really looks like a football player at times here. We'll be eager to get him back at full speed.
Right, there we go. I think we hit Preston again right there, and nice little throw and catch.
End up punting again. Good job by, I believe, Chase Humble getting in on the tackle, and Kobe Ramsey, who's played great for us all year, in on it as well. Here's a really tough call. They call us for too many men on the line of scrimmage, but yet we're running the ball.
So you can have
19 guys on the line of scrimmage, Coach. But regardless, we go into the half with Pickens leading 14-7.
Jacob Sanders, number 17, and I play safety. Country. Just pray and just hope I do good. Probably last year, my junior year, interception against Southeast. Pretty big. Hawaii, and because I like the beach and just feel like it's a beautiful place. I'd like to go there. They, when I had my truck, they took my truck and they put like car paint on it, on the windows and stuff. Took a lock and a chain and locked someone's keys like on the car. Probably 2 weeks ago when we played Ridgeland and I had that interception and I was about to score and I tripped over the ground and my leg messed up. When I was little, I didn't like going outside in the dark. I felt like somebody was gonna take me. I want to thank my mom and my dad and Jesus and my coaches and my Little League coaches too. And then Coach Bingham, my middle school coach. Jacob Sanders, number 17, and I play safety.
My name is Bryce Mantooth, number 30, and I play running back and linebacker. I really listen to country music, and that's about it. I like to just get by myself, sleep, just mental stuff. I do the track and field, shot put, and discus. Getting my pick 6 against Heritage last year. When I tore my ACL, they called me robot leg. I'd like to go to Hawaii because just the beautiful waters and just how it is. We were spending the night at Jeb's Brooker's house and we took everybody's cars and moved them to Food Line while everybody was inside asleep or playing games. Some fun, just quiet, just I like to thank God, my parents, Coach Rob, the whole coaching staff, and friends. My name is Bryce Mantooth, number 30, and I play running back and linebacker.
Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson, and this is Chad Fisher. Defensively, I can tell you we were not very pleased with our performance. They had a good field position a couple of times, but a lot of our guys play on the kickoff team that allowed a kickoff return. We had cut the lead to 14-10, felt good at the beginning, and then all of a sudden they returned the kickoff into our territory. We had a bad snap. Again, it was kind of the same story. We missed over 30 tackles. We were there to make plays so many, like a large number of times, and we just didn't make the tackle. And a lot of times we did make the tackle, and they fell forward for a few yards. The quarterback's a good player. He's been starting for 4 years at a position on the field. He's been their quarterback for 3 years. He played defense the year prior to that. So he has experience, and he's a good player. He just kept spinning, and he kept falling forward. I believe they got out of 8 3rd and 5s to 3rd and 7s. That's a really big deal, as an offensive guy, 3rd down. If you can avoid 3rd down, or if you get in them, get out of them, and with a 1st down, that's a really big deal.
Yeah, and you talk about their quarterback, C.J. Stryker. Let's not forget that he's the reigning player of the year in the conference, in the region. So he's a very good football player, and probably is going to be up for it again this year. But it's one of those things. We go back to work and get better each week.
And, we work on tackling all the time. We work on spin moves, cutbacks, bounce outs. It's just one of those things where they have a big offensive line. They kind of got in the way. We were clearing blocks as we got to the quarterback. So when he spun, we were kind of overextended, past our toes, which is how you want to tackle. So, we'll go back to work. I'm pretty confident in our defensive guys that they'll play better. We've shown the ability to bounce back before, and I believe we'll do it again. Sure. Up front, we still had some really good numbers, and our guys still made some really good plays.
Absolutely.
I think they had 9 drives on the night. The last one, they ended up. I'll take that one for sure. I was trying to overplay and trying to get them in the backfield. It was 28-10, and with very few minutes left, and I was trying to cause havoc in the backfield and kind of took our guys out of position. But we'll come back. We'll play better. Our D-line on the night, Coach, was very productive.
Yeah, they've been productive all year, and they continue to have good numbers. Zach Coslow was a young man who had 13 tackles. Dakota Hickman. Both of those guys have played really well.
Absolutely. Dakota had 8 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and Chase Humble had 6 tackles. At times, Zach Coslow looked like a linebacker scraping across and doing a really good job. Dakota and Chase played a solid game. Probably the strongest game up front was played by Zach Coslow, which was tough. He had a 300-plus pound center on him. They were double-teaming him all night. So we were really pleased with him, but we just I'm not down in our D-line because, again, I think they played well, but just we didn't get a big play every other drive. That's right. A tackle for a loss to try and back them up and make it more difficult on them.
And that's tough with what they do offensively and how they manage their game. You run into situations where your guys have really got to step up and make plays in crucial situations, and that was something that we didn't do in all 3 phases.
That's right. Our 2 main backup defensive linemen, Jeb Brooker and Adam Long, combined with 4 tackles, with Jeb making 3 of those. So overall, a solid night by our defensive line. Our linebacking crew was effective again. Our scrapes weren't great. Bailey McQuaig, you're going to talk about him in a second. He hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, missed a day or 2 this week. So, we're hoping to get him back in a regular routine. That matters for high school kids. He's a good player. He didn't play bad. We just didn't play as good as we had before.
Right.
Really across the board on defense.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Bailey. Bailey being banged up, being injured. Bailey had 12 tackles, but a guy that didn't get a lot of reps during the week because we're trying to keep him healthy enough to play on Friday night. He still goes out there and gets 12 tackles. So if we can get him healthy and get him back to playing like he did at the beginning of the year and being injury-free, he's really going to be able to come loose and play these last 3 weeks.
Well, you got to think 3 or 4 more tackles when he's playing at full speed. Logan Akins came in with 13 tackles, really the same deal. He's battled injuries, been semi-limited in practice, missed a couple that we really, hope gets fixed and will. Logan's gotten stronger as the years went. Both our outside linebackers played really well.
Yeah, and the way they set up, they were set in position to make plays. Jordan McCamish and Colby Ramsey really had a good night. Jordan had 32 tackles, had 4 tackles for loss, and Colby had 17 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. And those are 2 young men that have really gotten better and better each week. And Jordan, you always hear about the multi-sport athletes, and being a wrestler, that's really helped Jordan and how he's played football and how he's played defense this year is being able to make tackles because he's used to using his hands so much.
Well, playing multiple sports is something that you'll never hear me complain about. I wish all my guys played year-round because the competition, I love wrestling. For our guys, I love our guys playing basketball, baseball. All those things add to it. And for a defensive guy, I don't think there's any secret that wrestling is a very beneficial thing to do. I wish our entire defensive crew would go participate in wrestling, even if it was just practice, because I think it would make them better. Jake Fawcett did a good job coming in for us and spelling Bailey and Logan at various times. He came up with 8 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Young guy, he's a junior, but still an inexperienced guy, I guess I should say, who's gaining some valuable time to be beneficial to us next year.
Right. He's a kid that's gotten better and better and scored that touchdown in the Temple game, and so he's continued to get better and had a great attitude about it. I thought our secondary did some good things. They flew up. They didn't throw the ball, and so our secondary was involved in a lot of tackles at times. So, Hayden Pack was a young man that had 4 tackles. He had a forced fumble. Jacob Sanders had 9 tackles. He was the one that got the fumble recovery. Keith McQuaid's another one, had 15 tackles for a sophomore. That's big.
Oh, we had those 3 guys there who are very productive and were involved. And Matthew only played half the game. We barely mentioned that, but he's a big part of offense and defense, and he came up with 2 tackles. So, overall, a solid night for us, but certainly not the results that we'd like.
Absolutely.
At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights.
So here we go. We start off the second half. I thought we made some good adjustments at halftime. Coaches did a really good job. We get the ball outside to Gavin. Great downfield blocking by our wideouts. We have a great drive. We start off with a nice little pull on the zone, extending the play. So we're coming up second and short, and then we're going to throw a little hitch route up top. And like I said earlier on, we had what we wanted underneath. Cooper with a nice little catch, throw and catch from Owen to Cooper right there. Then we're going to take a shot in the hole, and this is what Owen has been doing all year, and a really good catch, really good concentration right there.
We end up kicking a field goal. Great job by Yahir Zapata. He's been very reliable on the year to cut the lead to 14-10. We end up kicking it deep, and just a really bad breakdown in our kickoff team. Great tackle by Zach Coslow. They end up scoring, which is really hurtful to go up 21-10.
Right, and there's a nice little throw and catch to Callan, getting pressure from Owen and stepping up in the pocket right there. And we're going to give it to Bryce right here on a little stretch play, and we get upfield. Nice job downfield being physical, blocking, and moving the ball right there. So we're going to run counter and get upfield. We're taking 3 and 4 yards at a shot, which is awesome.
We end up snapping the ball over our punter's head. Our punter didn't turn and kick it. They get down the goal line and go up 28-10 at that point.
Nice little read by Gavin on the counter, and he just takes off and runs and has a beautiful run. I think it was a 59-yard gain. Like to see him break away from that if he can. He did a good job really working hard to get downfield. Nice little throw and catch to Ray, get up vertical when we catch it. Again, we just this is a mistake where we end up snapping the ball over our quarterback's head later on in the drive.
We did a very good job by Keith McQuaig, who played a much better game. He's more involved. Our DBs are getting better at doing DB-style tackling. Great return by Cooper. Very good block there. I can't remember watching film who it was. We end up stalling out on offense, going forward on 4th down, and now at this point we've got our guys, and they're just churning it out. And I'm taking a lot of risk defensively, and some of them pay off and some of them don't. End up hurting our guys, and we end up giving up another score late in the game. But here you can see us gang tackling. Our kids still play hard. And that's the thing that I would point out, that I would show them that way as we watch film, and I talked about my mistakes and their mistakes. Our kids are still playing hard as they still are on offense. Good run by Gavin, cutting back, and our offensive line blocking.
Nice little job. And then we get Bryce, and we hit Bryce with a nice long run. Close to 30-some yards right here. Nice run, and we're just trying to move the ball, trying to eat up clock, and trying to get downfield and score as quick as we can. A nice little stretch play, and we just trip up right there at the end, trying to maybe had a chance to break one.
Unfortunately, the game ends with Pickens 35 and Northwest 10.
Noah Newman, number 20. I play wide receiver. I normally listen to country. Nothing much. I mean, just normally hang out with all the guys, talk, pretty much it. I play baseball. That's pretty much it. Probably scoring my first touchdown ever. Yeah, just for my size, being the smallest one on the team. Probably Hawaii, just to see the views, hang out. Yes, I had a favorite teddy bear for sure. Family, all the guys have stuck with me. The ones when I quit football, they brought me back out. And that's pretty much it. Noah Newman, number 20, I play wide receiver.
I'm Dakota Hickman, number 39, I play defensive end. I listen to either rap or country. I walk out to the 40, around the middle, in between the goalposts, and I say a prayer. Most memorable moment would be recovering that fumble 2 weeks ago. My hairline, it's awful. I'd probably go back to Hawaii. I grew up there. I was there when I was a baby. I don't remember much though. One time I came out of my truck after practice and there was a dead goose in the bed. I put the goose in somebody else's car. Last year during a JV game, I thought they called punt and I went out on the field and they didn't, so I ran to the wrong sideline to get off the field fast. Well, I peed the bed till I was like 9 or 10 because time zone change going back and forth to Hawaii. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, grandparents too. They've always been there, encouraged me, always had my back. I'm Dakota Hickman, number 39, I play defensive end.
Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson, and this is Chad Fisher. So this coming week, we really want to get back on track. It's a huge game for us. There's a couple of things. We're still right in the region mix. You know, there's multiple things that could happen, but one of the things that makes our road a little better is if Ridgeland beats Pickens. But regardless, we have a chance to end up anywhere from 1 to out of the playoffs.
Correct.
You know, we need to win by calculations and tiebreakers. We need to win at least 1 out of the next 3 games to secure a playoff spot. If we win 2, we get a higher seed. We win all 3, we can even end up the 1 seed.
Right, and there's a lot of things with playoff implications that are coming up, and it's still a 4-horse race for the region championship with us, Ridgeland, Pickens, and Heritage all having 1 loss. So, you know, we've got to go back to work and we got to do our job and take care of our business and worry about Northwest. We can't worry about what everybody else does, but if we take care of our business, we're going to be sitting in a good spot. And most likely, worst case scenario, we're going to be at least hosting a home playoff game if we do our business and take care of the job that we're supposed to.
You know, but there's a lot of ifs, and
Yes.
we're talking about young people, and you know. But I really believe in our guys. I believe in their resiliency and their effort. We've had a good week of practice, so I hope that carries over until Friday or into Friday, and I would be surprised if it doesn't. Until next time, this is Josh Robinson and Chad Fisher.